From the Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zahra Syed. Our top story tonight. President Joe Biden is facing criticism after repeating the false claim that he has seen pictures of Hamas fighters beheading children. Hamas had denied the allegations, and other journalists have also called the accusation into question. As well, Israel's government admits it has no evidence to support the claim, even though it has yet to fully retract the charge. White House officials say Biden has not independently confirmed the reports. However, they note that he has relied on claims from Israeli sources and media reports aiming to condemn the brutality and underscore the need to support Israel. The journalist for Israel's I-24 News who first reported the claim, Nicole Zedek, said Israeli soldiers told her about the babies, but she had not seen them herself. A 15-year-old Palestinian American student was expelled by Crest School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for his mother's social media post criticizing Israel. Jad Abu Hamda's mother, Maha al-Masri, has also been fired from her position as a math tutor. The case has prompted the Council on American Islamic Relations to request an investigation by the United States Department of Education. Pinecrest School defended its decision by labeling al-Masri's posts as hateful and incendiary, expressing concern about the potential to incite hatred and create fear. They believed her behavior could endanger the school community. Al-Masri says her posts were taken out of context and that her son has been treated unfairly. This incident highlights the ongoing debate over freedom of expression and its consequences in educational institutions on Israel's latest war on Palestine. In a full-page advertisement featured in the New York Times, an organization which represents 50 American Jewish community groups declared hatred of Israel is endangering American Jews. The Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations argues that anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are interconnected. It is calling for action against speech and actions that delegitimize and demonize Israel. The group is urging leaders to reject inflammatory rhetoric, address incitement against Jews and Israelis urgently, and condemn violent anti-Israel protests. The organization emphasized there is no justification for harassing, intimidating, threatening, or assaulting Jews, Jewish institutions, students, or businesses. The ad does not mention Israeli strikes, death, and destruction of Palestinians and their territories, or their right to self-determination. More than 100 employees of the Department of Homeland Security have issued an open letter to Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas criticizing the department's handling of Israel's war on Gaza. The November 22nd letter, which was obtained exclusively by Al Jazeera, voices frustration over the department's failure to acknowledge Israel's killing of Palestinians. It highlights DHS leadership's indifference towards the bombing of refugee camps, hospitals, ambulances, and civilians. The 139 signatories included staff from agencies like Customs and Border Protection, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. They are calling for a more balanced representation of the situation and an environment where employees can express their concerns without fear of reprisal. The Pentagon is taking urgent measures to accelerate the export of weapons to Israel. Procurement records reveal that a specialized team known as the Tiger Team has been deployed to resolve obstacles in the transfer of arms. These efforts are being channeled through an army agency called Israel's Significant Initiatives Group within the Defense Exports and Cooperations Office. The Tiger Team collaborates daily with the Defense Security Cooperation Agency, which is responsible for executing U.S. arms sales to address delays and bottlenecks. The existence of the Tiger Team and the Israel Significant Initiatives Group had remained undisclosed until now. Critics argue these actions run counter to President Joe Biden's recent criticism of Israel's actions in Gaza. Josh Paul, a former State Department official, resigned in protest, expressing disappointment with these policies. The Palestine Health Ministry reports that 110 people have been killed in the latest Israeli attack in the Jabalia area of Gaza. Israeli artillery shelling targeted residential areas in the Gaza city, including Shujaia, Tufah, and Duraj neighborhoods. The situation in Gaza remains dire, with hospitals, including the largest medical complex, Al-Shifa, facing relentless attacks by Israeli forces. The World Health Organization has described the scene at Al-Shifa Hospital as complete horror and condemned the destruction of Kamal Adwan Hospital. An Israeli soldier was killed Monday, bringing the daily death toll to 5 in 24 hours. The Israeli army announced Monday that 17 soldiers were wounded in Gaza in the last 24 hours. At least 127 soldiers and officers have been killed, and 704 people wounded since the start of the war on October 7th, Israeli newspaper Haaretz reports. The EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell Fontelles criticized Israel for not distinguishing between civilians and combatants, calling for an urgent humanitarian pause. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Chief Austin arrived in Israel for talks, coinciding with the United Nations Security Council's plan to vote on a ceasefire resolution. CIA Director Bill Burns is set to meet with the key figures in Poland to discuss a potential deal for the release of Israeli prisoners held by Hamas in Gaza. The death toll in Gaza has reached more than 18,787 Palestinians killed, while in Israel the revised death toll is nearly 1,140. More than 115 world leaders and prominent intellectuals have signed a genocide declaration demanding an urgent ceasefire in Gaza. It highlights the worsening humanitarian crisis in the region, accusing Israel of ignoring global protests and pleas for a permanent ceasefire. The declaration emphasizes Israel's actions have pushed the medical system in Gaza to the brink of failure and left people starving. Signatories include the former presidents of Tunisia and Malaysia, Turkey's former Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu, and Javad Zarif, the former Foreign Minister of Iran. Prominent figures such as Amr Moussa, former Secretary General of the Arab League, Palestinian American activist and Professor Noura Erakat, Victoria Britton, former foreign editor of The Guardian, and Chris Hedges, former Middle East bureau chief for the New York Times, have also signed the declaration. The United States shoots down 14 drones over the Red Sea. Details come after the break. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The United States Central Command, or CENTCOM, has confirmed that it intercepted 14 unmanned aerial vehicles over the Red Sea. The incident occurred on December 16th, with the USS Carney successfully neutralizing the UAVs launched from Houthis-controlled areas in Yemen. No damage to ships or injuries were reported. CENTCOM has alerted regional Red Sea partners to the potential threat. This incident comes amid recent actions by the Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, who claimed responsibility for targeting a Norwegian oil ship on December 12th. However, the British Maritime Agency later confirmed the safety of the targeted ship and its crew. The Houthi leader previously threatened to target Israeli ships in the Red Sea area. It prompted Israeli shipping company Zim to avoid using the Suez Canal due to security reasons. President Joe Biden's historic judicial nominee, Adil Mangi, faced a contentious confirmation hearing for the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit in Philadelphia. If confirmed, Mangi will be the first Muslim American appellate court judge. Senators Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, and Josh Hawley, all Republicans, subjected Mangi to aggressive questioning during the hearing. They inquired about his views on the September 11, 2001 attacks, the October 7th attack in Israel, and Israel's stance on the Palestine issue. Senator Josh Hawley asked the Muslim nominee if, in his opinion, Israel was a colonial state. Mangi said neither the question was relevant to his confirmation for the position, nor was he an expert on the issue. Advocacy groups and various senators criticized the line of questioning as Islamophobic and irrelevant to his qualifications. Committee Chair Dick Durbin apologized to Mangi for his ill treatment by the senators and mentioned his nomination was supported by the National Council of Jewish Women. Senator Cory Booker, also on the committee, said it was shameful to watch the three senators' behavior. Council on American Islamic Relations Deputy Director Edward Ahmed Mitchell denounced the senators' conduct and called for a focus on nominees' qualifications. Families of Israeli captives have urged the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to negotiate a prisoner exchange with Gaza. Carrying banners and chanting slogans, Israeli families demanded Netanyahu bring the prisoners home. They also condemned him over the death of 3 Israeli hostages who were killed by Israeli forces in Gaza. On Friday, Army spokesperson Daniel Hagari said Israeli soldiers mistakenly killed 3 prisoners during fighting in Gaza. He described it as tragic and said the Army bears responsibility. The United Nations Human Rights Office expressed deep concern over reports of mass detentions and mistreatment of Palestinians by Israeli forces in northern Gaza. Many Palestinians, including children as young as 12 and people as old as 70, have been detained and subjected to torture and abuse. The agency alleges detainees were forced to strip down, blindfolded, tightly handcuffed, and humiliated before being transported to undisclosed locations without proper clothing, food, or water. The Israeli army had ordered people in northern Gaza to relocate south, promising safety. However, many Palestinians reported ongoing attacks during their journey. The UN emphasizes international humanitarian law mandates detaining civilians only for essential security reasons. It calls for the protection and respect of civilians remaining in northern Gaza by Israeli forces. The Pakistani city of Lahore successfully deployed artificial rain to combat air pollution, thanks to the support from the United Arab Emirates. Notorious for its hazardous air quality, the city's authorities took an innovative step by using planes equipped with cloud seeding technology to address the smog problem. Air pollution in Lahore has reached alarming levels. The UAE sent a team with 2 planes to carry the experiment. The process involved releasing common salt into the clouds, triggering rainfall through 48 flares. The initiative aims to counteract the devastating impact of pollution on residents' health, which studies suggest could reduce life expectancy by up to 7 years. Artificial rain, a method employed in various countries worldwide, offers hope in the battle against air pollution and its dire consequences. That's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.